Welcome to An Icon, where confidence meets creative power. I'm here to help you step into the woman you know you're meant to be, visually, energetically, creatively, and in business. This show is for the woman who's done playing small, done hiding behind safe visuals, done shrinking her identity to fit into spaces she's already outgrown. An Icon is about becoming undeniable through your presence, through your style, through your story, through the way you show up in your business. Because your next level isn't just about strategy, it's about identity. It's about becoming the woman your business has been waiting for, the woman who is seen, remembered, and paid accordingly. So if you're ready to elevate how you show up, refine your visual identity, and build a brand that feels powerful and aligned with who you really are, you're in the right place. Let's build your icon era. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 3 of An Icon podcast. Really excited because I have a special guest with me here today. She is a business mentor, a messaging expert, and an international speaker. She is someone that I knew when I launched my personal brand and pivoted at the end of last year. I knew I needed to nail down my brand messaging, and there was one person that I knew would be the best at teaching me this. So welcome to An Icon podcast, Ang Simson. I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm so excited to be doing this. I adore you. So this is just such a treat.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. So jumping straight into it, I'm going to ask you a bit of not a strange question, but an interesting question, because I actually really love this. And it's something that I like to dig into with some of my clients, is take us really far back. Who was little Ange? What mattered to her? What are the things that she loved? What are the things that lit her up?
Oh my gosh, little Ange. I have not thought about that question in a long time. So I love this so much. I was born in Townsville. Not many people know that. So like up in Far North.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And then moved to the Gold Coast when I was like 2 or 3. But I was just creative. I loved dance. I did ballet. I was like the weird dance kid who did like everything. I was like ballet, tap, jazz, contemporary. I was like there every afternoon. In the, end of year concerts, I had like 12 different dances that I was doing. I loved it. I read a lot. I always have loved books. I used to love to paint, which I don't do anymore. And I used to paint, this is really like a weird fact. I used to paint the same scene all the time. So I had like crayons and watercolor and paint, and I would always do a waterfall. Like I like nailed the waterfall, and I can still remember it like so vividly in my head. So she was like a creative little thing. Sweet.
I love that.
She was cute.
Yeah. I love that. And that actually makes so much more sense now why we get on really well, because I think that creatives tend to gravitate towards each other. And being in the world of like social media and content creation, like we really navigate towards that because it's literally creating, right? So I love that. I love getting into understanding like the things that really lit us up when we were young, because I think that everyone is like gifted certain gifts at a young age, and those early sparks of interest really do like come to fruition as we get older. So maybe it's time to get back painting.
You made me think about it now.
Yeah.
I'm very not artistic now. Like anytime I have tried to paint.
Yeah. It's a skill. You need to hone it back in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your evolution of network marketing to an online coach. So that shift, I want to just speak on that, because I know there's a lot of women out there who would be listening to this that are like, I feel stuck in a place that I've been for a long time. Maybe if they've built something really big and they feel like they need to shift. But how did you do that without losing your audience? Because you had a really beautiful, big audience back then, and you've been on social media for many, many years. Like, take us back to that time, and how did that look?
Do you know what? I actually did lose a lot of my audience. I think common misconception. So I remember when I made the shift, I was really honing in on like, okay, I want to nail messaging. I want to get really good with saying the words that sell to people and really helping to find the right people in everyone's industry so that they can attract who they want to attract. Because what I kept seeing and what I was really frustrated about is I had like practitioners or coaches or people in my life who they were so good at what they did. You know, I would go and see my naturopath and I'd be like, you should be booked out. Like, you should be booked out. But all of these people who had these incredible skills, whether they were coaches, mentors, whatever, service-based businesses, you know, they weren't finding people. There's something here.
There's a
And so
gap.
there's
Yeah.
such a gap, because people who are good at what they do, yes, word of mouth will get them so far, but sometimes their message needs to go even further. And so I really found that that was my passion. I really discovered that. And when I did the shift, I can still remember the post I did that was like I'm making like I'm changing, like things are getting different from here. And it was one of those like, can I swear?
Go for it.
Like I'm sick of my own shit moment.
Yeah.
And I remember it very like interestingly, I've got this very, very old Chanel necklace. And it's so like big. It's like it's this big gold, like it sits on your chest like a chest plate, like Wonder Woman's
Yeah.
like, and it's the Chanel C's.
Yeah.
And I've had it like as long as I can remember. And I remember I was like getting ready for an event and I was going to put it on. And I'm like, no, 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 it's a bit much. And I had that moment of like, if I'm going to show women how they can build up a brand, how they can showcase their work, how they can just be authentically them, I need to stop watering myself down. And so it was one of those moments where that for me was the shift in probably my brand voice. And I remember that month I lost like 10,000 followers, but I think
Wow.
I gained like maybe 12. It looked like 12,000. So it looked like I grew, but I definitely like in the shift, there was a big drop off. But I think the trick was, and what I've really nailed is I grew faster than I lost.
Okay.
So I was really focused on, as much as I was shifting my direction, I was focused on being so clear to the women that I wanted to attract that no matter how many people dropped off, I was just bringing new people in
Yeah.
every single day. I was finding them through my content, my messaging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I think that that's where people get stuck for so long, is they are really scared of that gap. It's like so overwhelming to think about that. And I've been through that same pivot myself over the last 6 months. And it is, you have to see it out. You have to be able to, like for me, I was like, I'm not starting a new Instagram. Like I've got to flesh out kind of the old content, but it just took time and being willing to post consistently. And for me, going and taking one of your courses, one of your signature programs, allowed me to really sit down and get so clear with the messaging that I needed to be able to move forward and create the content for the new perfect avatar for me, like that my ideal client, right? So I knew during that pivot that it was going to take time, and we're still there. We're still in the transition phase. But if anything, like my audience has definitely grown a lot faster than it was. So I think that's such an important topic to touch on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't end because we
No.
grow and evolve as humans as well. And we're constantly like refining and really getting even deeper into who we speak to. So, you know, it's very
Yeah.
human of us, you know.
Yeah. It's ever evolving. We never just stop,
Yeah.
reaching our next level. Okay. Question. Was there ever a moment in your business where you genuinely thought, maybe this isn't going to work out for me?
Yeah, most days.
Okay, so you guys, it's normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
So I have this theory, you know, I call it the luteal low. Like as women, I think it's important that we work within our cycles. And I definitely notice that there's certain days in my cycle where the doubt creeps in and you know you question things like, am I putting out my best work, am I impacting people the way I should, am I pricing correctly, am I speaking to the right person, am I giving the right advice? And you know, I actually did a post on that this morning. I really think that self-doubt is just that your standards are so high that you don't just put things out and go, okay, that'll do. You know, you really care about the work that you do. And I think sometimes that high standard can shadow as self-doubt a little bit. And so, I always say it's our responsibility. We know we're going to have hormonal fluctuations. It is our responsibility to do what we need to do to make sure that we are still running our business, we are still serving the people that we want to serve. So the self-doubt does come in, but I look at it as, okay, there's something I'm doing where I need to actually raise the work to match my standard. So I almost look at it as whenever self-doubt comes in, it's that I know that I can be doing something better or that I can refine it even more. And so it's more of like an investigation period of where do I feel like I could take this up a level? And I love that. Like it's kind of awful to be in the feeling at the beginning, but again, as a woman who, runs a business, I don't have the luxury to be like, I'm taking a week off to go and be luteal. So I'm like, okay, where do I need to raise the bar?
Yeah. I think having that self-awareness around the fluctuations is you feel like some days the whole world's going to end and you feel like you can't do anything right. And then all of a sudden you kind of self-check being like, hey, what part of my cycle am I in? And it's usually in that cycle where you're just not having a great week. And it's really funny that you're saying this because I was actually going to create some content on this topic, but I think it's so important as women to understand that a lot of times we are listening to advice from males and from males who don't have children, who don't run a household. As much as I love like the Alex Hormozis and the Gary V's and, the Tony Robbins of the world, like incredible humans, right? But just taking everything with a grain of salt and understanding that we just work so differently. And sometimes we're putting ourselves in a masculine world that we don't fit in. So I think that I think that topic is so important that we need to continue to remind ourselves about that.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree with you there.
Yeah. Give yourself grace, ladies. Okay. I want to talk about a recent post that you posted a few days ago, or maybe it was last week, about the curiosity gap. I really like this. And it related back to Wuthering Heights, which is a really hot topic right now in a movie, which I actually haven't seen, but that curiosity of what I'm missing out on has definitely gotten to me as well, and I do want to go. But the psychology behind what drives viral content, not information or value, but curiosity. Would you talk a little bit about that particular topic and the thoughts behind that?
Just rip. And these are all just my own observations that I've found. I think there's a level where you can go too far into curiosity marketing where people are like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you doing? Is this like what do they call it? Bait and switch? Like, you want to be clear in some areas, but I think especially as coaches, we're always told like, just add tons of value, like share everything, share everything. I'm a big believer in that as well. Like anytime I do some sort of low ticket offer, I'm like, I'm going to give it my all. Like I'm going to give people as much as I can in this. But there is a level of like on social media, oversharing and almost like completing the loop for people. It doesn't really work if you want them to buy from you. And so when you have people going, okay, I love this concept or I love this topic and I want to learn more about it. And you give them the the what, but not the how. So you might say to them, this is what you need to do in order to increase your following on social media. But if you want to really go deep and learn how to do it, you can come and pay me and do my courses and learn how. Right. And so I do think that what this does is it creates what I call in Build Your Brand omnipresence, where people start thinking about you even when they're not around you. And if you think about the people that I don't want to say obsess over, but like the people you think about even when they're not, like you're not on your phone scrolling and you kind of sit there and you're like, I wonder how she did that. Or I wonder exactly what she's doing inside that offering. Or I wonder how she signed those, 10 private clients, or I wonder how she sold out that program. The reason is she's not telling you, like no one's just giving away the cow for free.
Yeah.
Sorry, giving away the milk for free. I can't.
Either one, it's fine.
She's intentionally creating curiosity around different areas of her life so that you do think about it, because the brain doesn't like an unanswered question, which is why I went so wild into the Wuthering Heights topic, I was like, I feel like I'm 2 weeks too late in the pace
Mm-hmm.
that everything happens on social media. I'm like, the Wuthering Heights obsession was like a couple of weeks before. I got on it late, but I didn't see it because I was waiting to see it with a friend and we eventually went. But it's true, like I went home and a lot of people saying like the movie broke them, like I'll never be the same. It definitely wasn't that dramatic, but I was like, I can't stop thinking about
Yeah.
this. And I even tried to convince my fiance. I was like, you need to come and see it with me. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't stopped talking about it for like 2 days. He's like, he's building a new business right now. He's like, I don't have the capacity to be distracted for 2 days because of a movie. So I just chomped his ear off about it. I was like,
Yeah.
how did Heathcliff make money? What did she say to Nellie? Like,
Yeah.
it's all the questions. And so your content is very much like that. You want to create curiosity so that people are really thinking about you outside of looking at your phone. Because if you don't have that level of omnipresence, then your brand isn't really going to stand out above other people's. If you're just relying on people seeing you on social media, you're fighting the algorithm, you're fighting people's attention span, you're fighting everyone trying to do their digital detoxes. So you really need to find that way to stay with them once they're not on there, you know?
Yeah, totally. And this really feeds into, I wanted to touch on this because this is something that I do with my clients with launching their new programs, or if they're launching something new in their business, like the tease, like teasing it out and little Easter egg hunts, like thinking about it strategically from that point of view. Like, this is why everyone loves Taylor Swift, right? Because she's like the master of Easter eggs, like just like little hints and stringing people along. It's just psychology. People like the hunt, they like the chase, they like to figure out things that are sitting in their brain that they haven't got the complete answer for. So I think that it's so important to remember that when you're creating content or you're launching something new or you're getting creative in your business, think about not giving them every single bit all in one. And so I really I think that like really hit the nail on the head, and I wanted to get more information on it. So okay, let's switch gears into visual authority and aesthetics, okay? Because if you guys follow Ange on Instagram, she has a very strong visual identity and an aesthetic that has been very strong, I would say, for a long time. Tell me, how did this come about? How did you go like, this is how I want to shoot content. This is how aesthetically I want to show up, because you have beautiful content. You take beautiful photos. You're very creative, and obviously you have that natural creative flair. But how did that come about? Was it just like testing and kind of seeing what you like? Because I think that people kind of follow the trends and then they switch things up, and it's like, there's a real big concept at the moment in branding about world building and having this same feeling and aesthetic throughout every touch point of where people visually see you in your business. And celebrities do this very well. They have incredible teams that allow them to do this. But talk us through that like decision. Was there like a really strong, solid decision, or was it just kind of by accident?
So it almost goes back to the Chanel necklace conversation. I went through a phase where I was really creating content, dressing, doing my hair, like everything, not everything, but a lot that I was doing was almost like playing a character that I thought I needed to be in certain areas of my life. You know, I had really short bleach blonde hair, I had big fake eyelashes, I had like too much Botox, and I had filler in my lips, and like I tried all the things and to be honest, because I went through a phase probably like after my divorce, and probably for a good like 3 or 4 years after, where I was really re-finding myself. You know, and I think that women who have gone through these transitions might understand this, where it's not always that you go through something big and then you find yourself immediately on the other side. Sometimes it does take some time, and it takes some playing and testing. I really was wearing a mask for a couple of years, like visually. I believe I always stayed true to just who I am as a human. Visually, I was trying to figure things out. And I think a part of that is aging. You know, I'm 38. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not old by any means.
That's still very young, let's be honest.
Like, again, it's very different when you're in your 20s. It's very different. So, there was this period for me of like, okay, I got divorced. I'm finding this new version of me as someone who's edging towards 40. And it was this conversation that I had with a good friend of mine, Scott Harris. I rang him one day because I was like, I'm just frustrated. I'm not making the money I want to make. There's so many areas of my life where I don't feel great. This was like 3 years ago. And he said to me, when you think about the 40-year-olds that you admire and that you really look at and think, gosh, she's what I would love to be. Tell me more about them. I want you to like go and write about them. What do they do with their money? How do they dress? What is their health and fitness like? What about their weight? And I really thought about it and I'm like, okay, I'm off track from what I actually want. I'm so busy seeing what I see as popular online, or what I see as popular aesthetically, or what I'm being influenced around, but I'm not actually taking time to influence me. And so it was about 2.5 years ago when I started back in my coaching business that I made a promise that I was going to find my aesthetic, my genuine, like, how do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And I did a reel about this like 2 weeks ago or something, where it's like when I started back my business 2.5 years ago, and I'm like, full face of foundation and the lashes, and I'm quite overweight. I'm like 10 kilos heavier than I feel comfortable being. And, I shared that because that was the beginning of the journey. And I think that's really important to share. Whereas the things that have really helped me find my aesthetic over the last 2.5, 3 years have been remembering what inspires me. So reading a lot of books, traveling again. I went to New York twice last year, and just going to museums and looking around and seeing the things that really inspired me, and spending more time on Pinterest and Substack than I do on social media. I'm like, that has been a big part in probably more so the last 18 months than anything. But really, when it comes to my visual aesthetic, I dress, I create, I do all the things to basically be the person that I'm obsessed with. Like, I will say this loud and proud. I love my content. Like, I would rewatch.
As you should.
Be like, that girl is
202,000 people also love your content.
And I'm like, I think, definitely there's moments where I'm like, okay, that's not really me. That's not my aesthetic. I played with something and it was a loody all day maybe. But I'm like, most of the time I can look through my feed and be like, oh, that girl's cool. Like, I love the way she dresses, and I love the fonts she uses and the aesthetic. So I think it was more than anything for my brand. It was about coming back home to me and getting rid of the noise and the external influences telling me who I should be, and really doing the creative things to find who I actually am at my core.
Yeah. Oh, you nailed that, because that's exactly what people need to do, is becoming back to themselves. This is what got me into the role of creative direction, was seeing so many women just trying to replicate each other and be like other people. And it just it gets you nowhere. It literally gets you nowhere. If anything, you feel more lost. You feel more like you're just chasing, you're on the hamster wheel. When you see someone like yourself who just knows innately exactly how you want to show up and how you want to dress and how you visually want to show up to the world, it just makes sense, because you don't have to curate it. It's already just embedded in who you are, right? And I think that that's a really good reminder, is just like you really need to go inward sometimes and really focus on like who you want to be. And it's something, just touching on creativity. I talk about creativity all the time, but I posted on Instagram the other day, like, get out of your house, ladies, especially if you work from home. It can really get you in a creative rut. It's like, get outside, go work from a beautiful cafe, get your face in the sun, get some fresh air. Like, that is going to spark a lot more creativity than sitting in front of your computer all day long in your house, right? Because when you are amongst beautiful things, your creativity definitely lights up more. So I work on Pinterest all the time, but like Pinterest and just being amongst beautiful things, like even just putting on a nice outfit, like it can literally change your entire aura, like how you present yourself to the world. I want to touch on your approach to creating content, because you have very highly shared, highly saved content. You get a lot of incredible views on your content. Obviously, that's reflecting in your amazing following and the business that you have built. But like, I know this is going to be a very like broad question, but like, what's your secret to creating content, especially with where we're at in 2026? Because obviously things have just changed so much, even just in the last year, in terms of like what people want to see. But what is one thing that you could share that is like the secret to creating content that's working right now?
Just one.
Or okay, give us a few.
The top one is like hooks. Hooks are never going to go away. Hooks have been on book covers, they have been in social media, on the tops of sales pages, in email subject line. Like hooks are so important. If you're not utilizing the first, sentence, the first few words of what you say to really capture the right person's attention, like the biggest mistake I see is people start to share a story, like a talking head story, and they spend the first 3 to 5 seconds, oh, hey guys, like I'm just at my house. And I'm like, okay, you just lost like 50% of your audience in that 5 seconds. Like we need to hook people. So I think that that's always the most important part, whether it's a visual hook, whether it's a talking hook, whether it's the words that you're putting on the screen, whether it's a transition. Like I think if you're not hooking people, you're wasting a piece of content.
Yes. And would you agree that there's power in less is more at the moment in terms of like not having to post every day? Like a quality piece of content is going to do so much better than posting every single day and it's weak.
Well, look, there's kind of two things here. I think less is more in the way that when I work with clients, I find that I'm more so cutting things out of their content, out of their word. I'm removing unnecessary words. I'm almost bringing them back a little bit, which is always easier than trying to pull someone forward. It's like, just do a little less. But I must say, if your goal was growth, quantity is definitely going to work in your favor. But the quantity is not going to work if the quality is not there. So if you're just posting for the sake of posting and you're like, I'm just going to follow every trend and I'm just going to try 5,000 different things, it's not going to work. So whenever I want to go through a growth phase, all of my clients know I'll literally say, and I say this so they can see what I'm doing, hey guys, I'm going to go grow another 10,000 followers this month. Like I do it intentionally. So right now I'm not growing. I'm not in a growth phase. I'm actually in a nurture phase. I go through different rhythms of how I sell online and what I do. And so when I'm in a growth phase, if something works, I actually just repurpose it a whole bunch of ways. I'll use the same hook in a slightly different way, or I'll turn it into a carousel, or I'll change the topic a little bit. So I think that quantity does help. I'm not going to lie that it does, but not if it's just random. Like the quantity, but with great messaging is the key.
Yeah, being very intentional. What does it look like in terms of like creating content and shooting it, right? Like getting video or taking photos. What does that look like for you? Are you kind of more spur of the moment? Do you have days of the week that you have scheduled and planned? Do you bulk create? Because we've heard all of the things over all of the years, right? From every coach, every online guru will tell you everything different. What does that look like for you?
It's really basic. When I look cute, I film stuff. I wish it was more, I wish it was more intentional. Here's the thing. I'm like, okay, if I said every Friday I'm going to get dressed up and film content, then yeah, that's great. But it's like, this Friday I have to drive my dad up to hospital. He's got some stuff going on. So I don't have time this Friday. Or like, I might not just feel good that day. I might just be like, I don't feel like getting dressed up. There are some days when I've got a cute new outfit and I'm just like, I'm feeling it. I'm so like, I feel myself. I feel good. And I don't feel like that every day. Like we were saying before we started recording, I'm like, I really need to wash my hair. I definitely don't feel my cutest today, so I'm not filming any content. But so it's a mix of that of like, okay, when you're a woman and you feel good and, I put in effort every day, but the days where I put in effort and it shows, I'm going to film little bits. But the key for me is I do it in my life. So I'm like, there are just a couple of spots in my house that I know have good lighting. and I'm just going to go and film a little fit check, or if I'm doing face to camera, if I have an idea, but I'm just like, I'm stuttering or I can't get the words right. I actually just write it out in my notes. And then when I'm having a day where I'm like on fire and want to record, I'll just do it all in one day. So I often, like, you guys will see if I'm doing talking head, I'm often just in the same outfit, but posting it like days later. And so I work it in with my lifestyle. And I think because I have, 4 kids and run a business, and, my fiance also runs 3 different businesses, and like, we're so busy.
Yeah.
I sometimes just have to make it fit in with life.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best advice that people need to hear, because I think that there's this pressure of like, need to bulk create once a week, and they're sitting there and they're just like getting frustrated with themselves. And sometimes some weeks you're just not going to feel good, and then there's going to be weeks where you are on fire and you just do get a lot of content, and then you continue to save that to be used. And I love that you repurpose so much. You really do. Which it just allows life to be so much easier. So much easier.
Over and over again. Like,
yes.
Just keep repeating it. Your audience actually wants that.
Yeah. Okay. A bit of a funny question is, what is your biggest ick when it comes to how women are posting or showing up online?
I mean, I have multiple. I think a couple of okay. I think
We're not offending anyone. It's fine.
I don't want to offend anyone. Inauthenticity for me is a big one. And you see it in so many different ways. You see the woman who's like sprouting femininity, and she's in her soft era, but she's like doing face to camera stories, like pointing at you like a used car salesman trying to make a sale. And I'm like, hold on, you're not in your feminine. Hold on. And when you just feel someone's really performing. And of course, I'm going to say this, we're all performing to a level all the freaking time. Like, when we're on social media, we're not just like setting up our phone and being like, hey, this is how I chat with a mate. Like, hopefully we're running businesses where we're like putting some level of professionalism into our work. But I think when there's inauthenticity, when people are trying to be someone they're not, it actually shows through a lot more than they realize. And I'm like, I want to see people for their quirks and their unique aspects of what makes them them. That's what really excites me. So it would be definitely the inauthenticity is like the number one thing.
It's like so obvious. Yeah.
And then chasing trends that are irrelevant to your business is like probably my second biggest ick. When someone's like, oh, that's like like everyone at the moment is doing like, Mom, what were you like in the 90s?
Yeah. It's like, so tempting, isn't it? It's really tempting because they're like, oh, this is working for so-and-so or whatever. And it's like, it's so tempting, but it's also, and again, like not trying to offend anyone, but we're on this podcast is called An Icon. We're here to create icons. We're here to create people, women who show up really authentically in their businesses. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it's almost cheating. It's almost just like you're being lazy to an extent, because you're just like taking someone else's idea and adapting it to your own. And it's like, this is where, as someone who teaches people creativity and to be creative in their businesses, we need to have our own voice, have our own thoughts, have our own creative flair. And when you're constantly, and look, I've been there, I've done all the wrong things. I'm sure we both have, right? Like we've both been in the like, let's be in a coaching program where they literally give you like, post these exact reels, or we're chasing the trends. We've all done it wrong. So if you're listening to this and you're like, holy crap, like I do that, it's okay. But like, let's come back to ourselves. Let's come back to our own thoughts, because we have so much to give to the world. If you are a female entrepreneur, like you are doing this because you have a passion, you have something to give to the world. Like, let's come back to that and like own it, because that is what works. That is what people see through the screen authentically.
Totally. And look, I'm all for a trend if you make it your own, like the 90s thing. First and foremost, only celebrities should be doing that, because I don't care what, like, Karen
Yeah.
down the street was like when she was in the 90s. Like, I'm like, I'm not going to post pictures of me at a toddler. But like I saw, I think Brock Johnson maybe did something like that, but he like got AI to make like little versions of him, like being sitting on the computer, like working. So he made it funny. He made it relevant for him. He made it very like still in alignment with his brand and what he teaches. And I think that that's the
Yeah.
important part. It's like, if you want to jump on a trend, to like give the algorithm some juice that it's looking for, then go for it. But don't just like do something that's completely irrelevant to your business
Yeah.
because it's trending. Like, how do you make it for your audience and not someone
Yeah.
else's, you know?
Yeah. Make a twist on it. Yeah. Be creative. So, on the topic of creativity, before we get into our spicy rapid fire, the last question that I have for you on this main segment is you have, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but we might expand a little bit, is creativity. You recently shared that you were in a creative rut. What have you been doing to get out of this? Because I do think that this happens to a lot of women. Like we said, working from home, and I know you were in the transition of moving to a new home. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm living in an Airbnb right now. We're about to move into a new house. Like, your environment really does create or also stunt creativity. So what have you been doing to get yourself out of that rut?
It's so basic. Like, again, and you know, a lot of my clients say to me, "Oh my gosh, I love you because you simplify everything." And sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, I'm because I need it dumbed down for me to really get it." But I'm like, all I've been doing is getting back into the things that I know spark my creativity. So I love to write. I have been writing. I remember writing my first mini novel when I was like 8, about a girl lying on the beach and then her house burns down. Anyway, long story. So I love to write, not fiction anymore, but like just journaling and like, you know, assessing
Yeah.
what's going on. And I think I mentioned in the story where I said my creativity's gone. I looked at my journal and I was like, I'm just writing logistical things. Organize this, the delivery for the furniture, like have I connected the Wi-Fi? You know, all these like it became like a to-do list. I was like, where did my spark go? So I went back and read some other things where I'm talking about, you know, human behavior, and I'm writing letters to my kids to read when I'm gone one day. Like, I'm doing all these things and I'm like, I don't do that anymore. So I really just got back into that. I love reading biographies. So I went and bought Jane Birkin's biography, or I had that, sorry, from New York. I went and actually read it. I bought the Yoko Ono biography. Like, I just, again, I love biographies. So again, reading about how creative people lived. And I love that this is like an icon, because I look at people like Jane Birkin and I'm like, oh my God, she was like the accidental icon. I just loved her art, her creativity so much that she became an icon without even, the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
And so it was just that. It was reading and writing. And I wish it could be more like unique and complicated, I guess, but it really is like those foundational things that we do that feed our creativity. Like you said, going to beautiful places. Now, we live on the Gold Coast. I would say that, you know, there's not like the museums and things that I would love to see here to be able to spark creativity in that way. But, you know, doing what you can to find the beautiful spaces, you know, going for a walk on the beach and all of that stuff. It's basic, but it works.
Yeah. It really does. And I think that something that's really important to highlight is that when you are running a business and you are doing all the strategy and the numbers and the to-do lists, and we really sway into our masculine energy, and that can really strip away creativity as females. And so I say all the time that creativity is such a feminine energy. Like, we're so lucky to be able to tap into that. We have like superpowers when we're in our feminine energy, and I think that's like why we create so well when we're ovulating and those sort of things, because we have this energy, right? So I think you're so right. You can catch yourself being so far into strategy and so far into the numbers and the lists and all the things that you need to do in your business that you're not prioritizing the other side of it. And that's where we get really stuck with content creation and speaking from our heart and having creative flair into our business. So I think that is so important, that if you feel like you're there, which we sway in and out of that all the time as entrepreneurs, that you're going to have times where you need to be really in that masculine energy to build a business. But then like we have a superpower behind us in feminine energy and that creativity. And it should be simple. It should be the little things. It should be opening a book. It should be taking a walk and journaling or whatever it is. For me, it's like music and fashion and putting on a nice outfit and reading a fashion magazine. Like that for me is like my dream world. But those were things, again, like tapping into what were the things that you enjoyed as a kid? Like what were the things that literally lit up your imagination as a child? And for me, it was fashion magazines. Like I like dreamt of like the world of fashion. And so I'm like, I need to anchor back into those things that are like my true passions, and everyone's got them and they're going to be different for everyone. Maybe it's going out and playing, you know, soccer. You know what I mean? Like maybe that was something that you really loved to do and like kick a ball around a field. I don't know. Like just almost anchoring into that childhood energy again, you know?
Yeah. I love that you say reading magazines. I'm like, I feel like everyone's gone so digital that I'm like, am I the only person who still goes and buys like 5 magazines?
I get a Vogue subscription every month.
Yeah. I'm like, is this still a thing? Like people using physical planners and writing in that. I'm like,
I have that many journals. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like just getting back to just realness, like touching a piece of paper. And yeah, it does things for your creativity. It really does. So, all right, we're getting into just the last few questions. And this is my spicy rapid fire section. So I just want you to answer these honestly, raw, real, give it to us straight. Okay, first one. What's the most overused phrase in the online coaching world right now?
Okay, the word quietly and the number 47, because AI is like ChatGPT says quietly all the time, like the things you're quietly. And I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but it always uses the number 47. So I'm like, stop.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's like
noticed that. That's interesting.
47 notes in your phone, or you've edited the thing 47 times. And I'm like, why do you always say 47? So weird. And then I realized,
Well, now I'm going to see that. Great. Yes, we could have a whole segment on ChatGPT. But anyway, we won't get into that. What online trend do you secretly wish would disappear?
would secretly disappear. People being polarizing for the sake of being polarizing and almost like making up stories. Like, oh, you know, I lost all of my clients, or like over dramatizing. I think that's actually the right word. People over dramatizing their stories for engagement. Like, did you really lose all your clients, or did you just have one client at the time that actually quit? Like, I just feel like, yeah, you can smell it sometimes when people have stuff that's like always so dramatic. I'm like
fake news.
We're training people's like nervous systems to not be good. Can we just tell the real story?
Yes. I love that. That's a great one. What's a harsh truth about building influence online that people don't want to hear?
Aesthetics really matter. Like, I wish it could be a little less harsh, but there is such thing as pretty
privilege.
Such thing.
It's the hot person tax. That's what I call it.
The hot person tax. There is such thing as that online, and it doesn't mean you have to be like genetically hot, but it means that you need to really just work on, how do I look my best? How do I present well? How do I have good lighting in my content? How, like, it really is the thing.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that, because I preach it all day long, girls. I really do. That's a big one. And obviously, like, visuals, right? Visual identity, how you show up online, it all matters. It really does. And you can learn it. Like, anyone can dress better. Anyone can figure out their iPhone settings. Like, it's all teachable skills.
Yeah.
If you had to choose, what matters more? Okay. Visuals or messaging?
Messaging.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
I really love visuals. Like, my heart goes visuals, but I'm like, when it comes to actually sell, because my brain goes to selling, messaging. Because you can, again, if it was that easy, every hot girl with an aesthetic page would be a millionaire.
Yes.
You know.
Mic drop. So true. Okay, coffee meeting with one businesswoman that you admire. Who is it?
I'm agreed.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is, so I'm gonna
Oh,
have to go look it up.
you'll become obsessed. You'll become obsessed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm agreed.
Amazing. Well, that is all that we have for you today. I am so thankful for you. I think that you're absolutely amazing. Tell everyone where they can find you on Instagram, all the things.
Well, mostly Instagram at Gratitude Project, or just search my name, Ang Simson. Everyone always gets it wrong and puts a P into it. It's
Yeah.
IMSON. So thank you for getting it right.
Yes, and everything will be in the show notes. So all of her links will be in there. And you're an icon. I appreciate you so much. And I am just grateful for your time and your wisdom and to know you and to also have been coached by you. So thank you for being here today.
You're so welcome. And you know that I absolutely adore you, and everyone needs to hire you immediately. Like, don't sit on this.
Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it so much.